Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Terry Hartley from Rustic Cards, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Iowa. And as you jump on, say hi. Let me know that you're here and where you're watching from. And just let me click a couple of buttons. So let's see. There we go. All right. Well, today is Tuesday, August the 12th. At 1 p.m. Central. I come do my weekly lives on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central, but you may be watching the replay. And so today, excuse me, and hopefully that everything is working. So if anyone is watching, if you can just let me know that because I don't see. Oh, great, Christina, I think you are here. Hello from Georgia. Welcome, welcome. All right. Well, today we're going to use the Perfectly Pears stamp set and dies, plus another set of dies. And we're just going to let that paper, the beautiful paper, do all of the work. So we're going to make two quick and easy cards. I'll make one and then we'll just step it up just a little bit. Hi, Judy. Good to see you. All right. Well, I am going to turn the camera down and we are going to get started. And I'll get some lights on. So this is the stamp set, and I just love this stamp set. I used it last week. I'm using it this week, and I'll be using it next week. I'm also using this for my club. So my club, which is a subscription, and then there's information in this description. So we're going to use Perfectly Pairs. I'm not using the dies actually, just going to be using the stamp set for this card, and I'm going to be using a good friend as a gift for the first card. So actually, I'm just using the sentiment, but I will be using textured note dies. And if you haven't seen these, this is a set of dies that is great for labels and layers, and is one that you'll want to get and then keep it forever because I just love the detail. Uh, in these dies, and this is a great staple to have in your craft room. Okay, so let me just really quick show you this beautiful paper. And we're going to be using this sheet right here. I'm going to pull that out, but you get um, you get 12 sheets, two of six designs. I love this because you can die cut, use your dies from the bundle and die cut the pears out. So you have one side that's lots of pears and the other side is not as busy. It doesn't have any pears on the back. And then the last design. So beautiful paper. Let me show you the card we're going to make today. A good friend is a gift. So again, I'm letting this beautiful paper be the focal point. Now this 12 by 12 is perfect for, this sheet would be good for scrapbooking if you're a scrapbooker, but it's also great for making cards. So if you're new to stamping, you might think, well, how am I going to, to make cards with that? So let me show you. We're going to bring in the trimmer. And we're going to start with our card base. Our card base is Darling Duckling. It's one of the new end colors. And so it's 8.5 by 11, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in the trimmer with the short side at the top, and I'm going to start by scoring. So I'm going to put this at 4.25 because I'm going to make two card bases out of one sheet of cardstock. So I'm going to score that at 4.25. Then I'm going to turn with the long side And then I'm going to cut this at 5.5. So I'm just going to cut it in half. And then that gives us two card bases. We're just going to use one right now. I'm going to leave my trimmer out because then I'm going to bring in this paper because I want to show you how easy it is to cut this to make cards. So we are going to, the designer series paper is going to be 4 by 5.25. So I'm going to go ahead and put this at 4. And then I am going to turn and I'm going to cut it at 5.25. And then this is what we're going to use for our card. So we'll go ahead and we will start by folding our card base in half. And then I already cut a piece of design of basic white 5.25 by 4 that I'm going to put on the inside. Hi, Lola. Good to see you. Well, hello, Jenny. Yes, I love this set too. It is so pretty, isn't it? Now, if you wanted to stamp a greeting inside, just do that before you place this basic white, because if you make a mistake, although there is, of course, no mistakes in crafting, but you could just turn it over and then stamp again. So again, we're gonna make two cards. This is our first card, and it's quick and easy. So see how this designer series paper just lays right on top. It just fits perfectly the way we cut it. And you could actually stamp your greeting right on this designer series paper. So to make even a quicker card, you could just stamp a greeting right here, put a bow, maybe not a bow, put some gems, and you would be finished, right? But I have taken Mossy Meadow um, and die cut from the textured notes along with basic white. And I think on the sample I used Darling Duckling, but I went ahead, we're using Mossy Meadow here. So here are the measurements for the card base, the basic white designer series paper, and then actually it's Mossy Meadow. I used third from the smallest, and the basic white is next to the smallest. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our Mossy Meadow ink, and we're going to put a good friend as a gift. And I know that all of you would agree with that. And now I'm going to stamp this a little bit over to the right because I am going to add a bow. So I want to make sure that I have room for my bow over here. And then I'm just going to layer this on the Mossy Meadow. Don't you just love these textured notes? I just love these designs that they have. And then I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. Let me grab my dimensionals. I do like to put one in the middle just so it doesn't sag. We'll bring our card base back and we will just put that right here. And then you'll be able to, I don't want to cover up that beautiful pear, so I'm going to bring it down just a little bit so you can see most of that pear. And then I'm going to bring in this beautiful Mossy Meadow ribbon that has gold specks in it. And I don't know that my camera will do justice, but it is gorgeous. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you. Kathy, I was just thinking about you this morning because I will be emailing you about the, those envelopes that you asked me about. So we'll just make a little bow, grab my snips, and I will probably think that'll work. And then my glue dots. I'm going to bring the bow to that. And then just put that right there. Now, if you're going to send this in the mail and you want to add, you want this, make sure this bow is secured. Um, I like take your pick tool. You can pick up another glue dot and you can just place it right under there. So sometimes I'll put more than one glue dot, especially if I'm going to mail it to someone. So here is a quick and easy card. A good friend is a gift. And of course, we have to add some embellishments. And I have these low profile sparkle dots. We have some other low profile dots, but these are the low profile sparkle dots. Darling Duckling, Mossy Meadow, and Secret Sea, I believe. So we could add, let's just go ahead. I'm going to use the putty. I would have thought I would have asked what you guys would have had me uh, put on there. But we're going to do, we'll just do Mossy Meadow. But we could have done the Darling Duckling too, right? So here is our first card. Here was our sample card when I used the yellow gems. So, but of course I also use the Darling Duckling for the layer. So you can decide whether you like all Darling Duckling or whether you like a little contrast with the Mossy Meadow. So let's go ahead and move. The next card is similar, but I'm just going to step it up just a little bit. So let's go ahead and get my stuff out of the way and bring in. We're going to use Mossy Meadow card base, and I've already cut that, ready to go. And this time we are going to use one of the dies from the Perfectly Pears bundle. And so we're going to start with Mossy Meadow. We're going to go ahead and add our layer of basic white, which is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And I'll just add some adhesive. So this time I'm still using the Designer Series paper, and I've already cut that. But I'm going to I'm going to layer it on Darling Duckling. So I'm stepping it up by not just using the Designer Series paper, but layering it on the Darling Duckling. So my Mossy Meadow card base, my Darling Duckling is 4 by 5 1/4. The Designer Series paper is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, and I'm still using the same textured note dies that I did. So if you need to get a screenshot of that. So the Designer Series paper is cut just a little bit smaller so I can layer it on this Darling Duckling cardstock. If you're not a club member, I'm using Perfectly Pears this month for club, and the last day to sign up, if you're not a club member, is on the 15th, on Friday. So then I'm going to go ahead and layer this right on top of here. So we'll just add Some adhesive. Sometimes it's easier just to open my card like this. I don't always do that, but just sometimes it's easier. And I can kind of get a better angle and view to make sure that I'm getting it as straight as I can. Okay, we're going to lay this aside, and we are going to go ahead and bring in Darling Duckling that I've already die cut from the textured note dies and basic white. And then I have already die cut this using the dies right out of my paper. That's what I love about this. You can die cut. You have two sheets that you can die cut using your dies. And so let's make a congratulations card. So we're going to bring in the Mossy Meadow, and we're going to make a congratulations card. Of course, you could put any sentiment that you want. So while I'm doing this, I want you to tell me, should I use the yellow or green uh, gems? So should I use yellow or green? So you tell me what I should use for this card. And again, once again, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this a little bit over on the right. I'm not going to put a bow um, on that, but I am going to put my two pairs. So I had planned, but I got ahead of myself. I had planned to wrap some ribbon around my two layers, my Darling Duckling and my Designer Series paper. But as I said, there's no mistakes in stamping. So we will just pretend that, no, I wasn't going to do that. I'm going to do this instead, right? So I'm going to make this even. And then I am going to just put this straight across. So I'm just going to measure that. And I can go ahead and cut that off later. So I'm going to use some glue dots to attach my ribbon. And I'm going to just start right there on the Darling Duckling. So edge. So I'm lining up the ribbon with the Darling Duckling. And we're going to add another one. And then we are going to add one more. So we're going to put 3 glue dots. And then I can take my snips. So I've just put it straight across. And I'll show you my sample card, what I was going to do. But we just decided to do this a little different, didn't we? Which is what you have to do when you get ahead of yourself. All right, but that's okay. So we'll just add some adhesive and layer these two die cuts together. Try to get it straight. I can make one both ways. That's true, Jenny. I could, couldn't I? All right, now, there they are. Let's say my dimensionals were escaping me. Okay, we're just going to put one. We're just going to do it this way. We're just going to use 3 to save on dimensionals. But as you know, I do love my dimensionals. And then we'll just put this right down here. And then we're going to pop up our 2 little pairs. With dimensionals. And then we'll just put those at an angle right there so you can see. Let me see what you decided. So Jenny says yellow. Kathy, you say green. Okay, well, let's see what I did on my sample card. So here's my sample card, and I actually wrapped the ribbon around the Darling Duckling and the Designer Series paper, and I used green on this card. So, and then this card here, I just went ahead and made it straight across, didn't wrap it around. So let's go ahead and bring in Christina, you say green. So it looks like green is the winner. Green is the winner. Okay. Um, and I think I'll use the larger ones where I used the smaller ones before. And I could put it down here, but I'll stick it right there. Are you ever like that? Like, where do I want the gems to go, right? All right. So here is a little step up from our first card. So we had our first card and then we decided to add a layer behind the second card just to kind of, and instead of doing the ribbon, we went ahead and added a die cut pear. So those are our two cards. Thank you, Christine. I'm glad that you like the cards today. I know they are quick and easy, right? But we all need quick and easy cards. And this paper is so gorgeous that it just makes the card itself. You don't even, just put on some designer series paper and a sentiment and you're ready to go. All right, well, really quick, I have a few things for barn chats that I want to share. And so barn chats is just where thanks, Jenny. I'm glad you liked the card. Barn chats is just where I just kind of tell you all the specials or things that are going on with Stampin' Up! And here in my studio at Rustic Barn Cards. Right now, for the month of August, if you haven't heard, select items of our new in colors of 2025, 2027. And that is Cloud Cover, Darling Duckling, Secret Sea, Strawberry Slush, and Timid Tiger. They are on sale. So as we know from last week, the cardstock in those colors are on sale, along with the ribbon, the ink refills, the ink pads. So even some of the other papers, pattern paper is even on sale if it has some of these colors in it. So check that out. 15% off for the entire month. And if you haven't checked the Last Chance products for a while, it was refreshed last Tuesday, a week ago. And there's even some celebration items from the last celebration that we had that you can get at a discount too. So, and then as I mentioned, I am using Perfectly Pears for my club this month. And the sign up for that is the 15th, and you can read about that in the description. Um, I am going to be having 12 Weeks of Christmas. I have teamed up with two of my friends, Connie Douglas from Great Stamping with Connie in Canada, and Sarah Boland from Handmade After Dark in Australia. And this is like our fourth year, I'm thinking, of putting on the 12 Weeks of Christmas. And if you are a newsletter subscriber, you get a free tutorial every week for 12 weeks, and it'll be some kind of a Christmas project, a card, 3D item. So all you have to do is just sign up for my newsletter, and that will be starting soon. So if you're not a newsletter subscriber, go ahead and sign up for that. We also offer a kit that goes with that, and we'll be telling you about that very soon. So thank you for being here and for watching. Have a great week. I'm Terry Hartley. I will see